The 2024 track and field season was nothing short of amazing at every single level, and high school distance running was no exception. Sadie Engelhardt was a large part of that, because she capped off her high school track season at the Olympic trials, while she was still a junior. So even if you don't know much about distance, it should make sense that she is the #1 girls recruit in the class of 2025 in the SCA Top 10. And if you actually do follow it, you likely already know that she's probably the closest thing we've ever seen to the legend Katelyn Tuohy herself. She even committed to compete for NC State just like her. So when the Woodbridge Cross Country Invitational went off in California, I was prepared to at the very least check the results, because Sadie Engelhardt was going to be on the starting line. She'd already done it before as a sophomore, and I expected that she would likely do it again during her final race at Woodbridge. But that is not just another cross-country meet, because athletes from all over the country show up to prove that they are one of the nation's best. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't plan on paying that much attention to the meet, because I figured that I already knew how the script to that movie was gonna end. But apparently, Rylee Blade out of California never got the memo, because she went out and won Woodbridge, breaking the high school national record in the 3-mile when she did it. And for all the cross-country fans who feel inclined to put an asterisk on it, because the course that you run on actually matters, all you need to see is the field of girls she just beat. Because Sadie Engelhardt did exactly what she does, running faster than she did as a sophomore to win the event. The only difference is, this time, she only finished in 5th. In front of her in 4th was BYU commit Jane Hedengren, who is also the #2 distance recruit for the class of 2025. And you already know who's #1. And the two girls who beat them to go 3rd and 2nd were Lily Alder and Chiara Daly. They both entered the season as 5-star recruits on the SCA national list for the class of 2026. And Rylee Blade beat all of them. In fact, she was the only girl to finish inside the top 6 at Woodbridge, who wasn't already a 5-star recruit heading into that meet, a race that eventually became the fastest one that we've ever seen high school girls run across 3 miles. By the time it was over, 3 girls had broken the high school national record for a 3-mile course. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation and help student athletes who want to be recruited to get exactly what they want. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. So the real question is, what does all this mean for Rylee Blade going forward? Because when I heard about her victory, I wondered, how did she only end up as a 4-star recruit on my national list heading into the meet? And once I checked the numbers, I saw something that I could not unsee. Because the truth is, she has been one of the best distance recruits in the entire nation for a good while now, which is why Florida State convinced her to join their team earlier this year. But there is a very real reason why she flew under the radar, because high school track and field really doesn't have an outdoor event that allowed her to display her true dominance. And the exact same thing was true about the woman who is now the queen of the record books for the distance events at the NCAA level. That's exactly where Rylee will be competing next year. And the woman who I'm talking about is, of course, the Olympian Parker Valby. And before I go any further, I do need to clarify how athletes like Rylee Blade and Parker Valby can get consistently overlooked on a ranking system like mine. The SCA national list does rank high school athletes, but it only takes into account the events that are standard high school track and field events, the same events that we run at state championship meets. And the rankings themselves are heavily weighted to outdoor track and field. So technically speaking, the 3,200 meter run is the longest distance event that will factor into the rankings organically. So if you are amazing in cross country, but don't dominate on the national leaderboards in the 3,200, or any of the other shorter distance events for that matter, then you will fall down the rankings. In Rylee's case, she won the Nike Outdoor National Meet in the 5K as a junior. But that doesn't factor that much into my national rankings, for the reasons I just mentioned. And I know I'm not the only one who didn't realize just how good she was, because the announcers at the Nike meet literally said, "It seems like Rylee Blade has found her event once she won that 5K. At the high school level, Parker Valby was basically a high 4-star recruit before she arrived at Florida. But the only reason for that is she wasn't hands down the fastest girl in many of the shorter distance events, but even as a freshman running cross country, she outperformed almost all the 5-star girls who were ranked ahead of her. You probably already know how the rest of her college career turned out. Almost every championship started to come down to either her or Katelyn Tuohy when they were on the starting line, and after Katelyn chose to turn pro, Parker effectively ran the remainder of her college career, way out in the front, entirely by herself in every race. I'm not saying it is exactly Rylee Blade's future destiny, but I am saying some version of it is within the realm of possibility. She is now officially a 5-star recruit, because breaking a high school national record will earn that for you. But she's apparently way more than that. She's a high school track athlete, with more talent than high school track and field is prepared to showcase, and perhaps the greatest steal on the recruiting boards for the distance events in the class of 2025, because the University of Florida definitely got the last long-distance superstar to join their team, and now their in-state rivals are following the same blueprint and went all the way across the country to get Rylee Blade to join their team, where she will have as good a shot as anyone to do the exact same thing. If you think you need help getting recruited, you are probably right. On SCArecruiting.com, you can get a ton of resources, like my free recruiting guide, detailed videos, online courses, and much more. And if nothing else, and you just really want to see more content like this, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.